Welcome back to the channel, and today I wanted to highlight 10 minor things you can change about your gameplay to bring your game to the next level. With EA releasing the game free to play this weekend and the fact that we always get a handful of comments on the game that it's pretty difficult, we're going to be giving some tips and tricks you can do to make the game just a hair easier. If you've been around a while, we are going to do this in a realistic fashion as I try to emulate in all of my videos, so no cheese plays or game breaking features to gain an upper hand here. I hope you all enjoy, and let's get into it. The first few things we're going to be focusing on is the run game specifically, and then we are going to be moving to the passing game and the defense. So first up, we have a way to get your run game off the ground and going. A lot of us have been through the frustration of getting a tackle for loss after our blocker completely loses his blocking assignment. Most people recommend to not hit the sprint button, which is R2, when behind the line of scrimmage, as it triggers the CPU to move quicker and shed box faster. This is true in the sense, but also on the flip side, using L2 button will also help you maneuver ever so slightly through the holes your O-line does create. L2 is more or less the fine-tuning movement button that really makes your player easier to thread that needle. Next up is going to change your Mike linebacker selection before the snap. This feature is intended to highlight the extra man rushing in the passing game, but through my playing and others in the community, it very much so helps your blockers know who to target on the second level when running the ball. The way to do this is to hit L1 and then the X button on PS5 and then move to select the rightmost player in the second line of the play. This can be a linebacker, corner, or safety depending on the formation. Typically, we don't need to worry about anyone lined up on the line of scrimmage since the CPU does a decent job of selecting their blocking assignment. Lastly, as a simple tip to improve your run game, just count the players in the box. Throughout the game, the CPU will throw various formations to stop you, so a quick and easy way to know if you are going to succeed in the run game is to count how many players are in the box. If they have 7 to 8 players, it is best to audible to a quick pass out of your formation. If 6 or less, you have a good percentage chance that you can pull off a good run. This also changes when they overload a side, so be sure to pay attention to how many players they have in their run direction, and if there seems to be too many, just flip the play to the other side with the right analog stick. Before we get to the passing and defensive portion of the tips, I would like to ask you all, if you're enjoying today's video, to be sure to hit that like and subscribe button below. It helps out the channel in more ways than one and is completely free of charge for you all. So if you want to stay in the loop on new videos, you can also hit that notification bell as well. But regardless, I appreciate you tuning in today, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the video. The next thing to really improve your gameplay is to switch up the play call as much as possible. A lot of players find it hard to succeed on Heisman, and a big portion of it seems to be the lack of variety in play calling. College Football 25 has made the CPU at a Heisman level very good, and even more so if they're predicting your play calling. If you only revolve around a few formation or a few plays, or stick to only running or passing, the CPU catches on really quick and it will make you pay for it. Now, getting into the passing game, I see a ton of people on the Reddit complain that passing is insanely hard, and it's not easy as the pass games, but a lot of us are just used to hitting those home run plays very frequently as we did in any other game. But with how passing works in this game, it became a lot harder, so always know where your check down is and be sure to find him, and if option 1 or option 2 is covered. The CPU routinely misses these assignments, especially if they are a choice route for a tight end or a running back out of the backfield. Thing I struggled with at launch and still do at times is to know where the pocket is. Blocking has been very controversial in this game since launch, but with the understanding of where you are in the terms of your lineman, you can really help mitigate this issue. The first thing is to always step up if you plan to stay in the pocket and make a pass. The D linemen are great about getting to the outside of your blockers, but not so great for moving back inside after they move outside, so stepping up after you drop back really confuses them and makes it difficult for them to get you. The next is to make the choice to run and stick with it. If you are going to move outside the pocket, be sure to take off immediately. Similar to how the running backs don't want to sprint, neither do the QBs right out of the gate. The game is coded to make QBs move slower until they are completely out of the pocket, so be sure to react quickly and save sprinting until you have some open grass in front of you. Another major issue when players first start to play is that the game becomes an interception simulator for the user. I recommend turning the setting down and using a slider set, but it can still be an issue at times. My recommendations are to move outside the pocket and hit that R3 button to throw it away, rather than trying to thread the needle or to turn off intentional grounding. Moving on to the defensive side, I see a ton of players talk about the fourth quarter comebacks are scripted and they are having trouble putting teams away at the end of the games. A lot of this stems from the CPU excelling at the passing game, so like many other real life coaches, giving up the underneath play and let them run out the clock by taking 4 to 5 yard gains at a time is successful. Running cover 4 is a good way to slow them down when they go into a no huddle full pass mode. Also, on the flip side, be sure to turn on the chew the clock coach adjustment on the pre-play menu, and don't just run the ball 3 times in a row. The CPU will stack the box and blitz heavy if they are down in a manageable amount. So throw a quick slant play in there a time or two on 2nd or 3rd down. Similar to play selection for the offense, you want to switch up your play calling on defense as well. I have found more success in audibling prior to the snap to confuse the QB even more, but using shells is another great way to stunt the offense. Also, be sure to know your corner speed as well as their receivers. Never press a team that has a speed advantage unless you want to get hit with a ton of go balls and 1 TD plays all game long. The last thing I wanted to highlight is stopping no-huddle teams. In this game, no-huddle is broken in more ways than one. It confuses the defense assignments, your team takes a ton of wear and tear where the CPU isn't affected at all, and the audibles are typically trash. So it is very hard to overcome when a CPU does this. Once again, keeping them limited in terms of yards per play is huge. Using the audibles you do have and changing the shell here and there will be a big way to slow them down and eventually stopping them. Another tip to limit the amount of teams that do this is to go to your coaching settings and turn down the aggressive AI portion to balance or to the lowest setting. This also affects the CPU when play calling, and you won't have to deal with it as much. Before we get out of here, for all the new players playing this weekend, be sure to check out their other videos on the page. There are a ton of conference realignment ideas, slider settings, and more for you to enjoy. Be sure to subscribe below so you can stay informed on all the College Football 25 and College Football 26 coming this next year. But I hope this video helped anyone struggling with mastering Heisman or the game in general, so I hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you in the next one.